Last time I painted with you, we did a trip to the beach. Today we're going to Mars. So buckle up, right? That's if I can get my paint open. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. You know what? I'm going with black, but you know what? I'm going to start first with my lighter colors. Always better to start lighter and work your way darker. It'll keep your water cleaner for longer. I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow here. And I'm using a flat brush. And I'm going to kind of come in down at the bottom here. We're going to add some color. Just going back and forth real quick. Doesn't need to be fast. Or, oh my gosh, I just said real quick, doesn't need to be fast. You don't have to worry about making this perfect here. We're just adding some color in. All right, so I got that. And I'm going to move on. I've got, it's kind of a light magenta here. So I'm going to move right into my next color. Boy, these paints do not want to open today. And if you're just joining me, this is Rose from the Painted Toad. So say hello if you're watching. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you give StreamYard permission to say hi, and then I'll be able to see your comments in the broadcast. And I am doing a Mars landscape here. So if you notice, I didn't wash my brush. So I'm getting kind of this pink and yellow is kind of mixing here to make this peachy looking orange. So I'm going to keep that like that. And then I'm going to start working into my upper background here. Let me see. I think I'm going to do a little more pink. I am going to wash the brush a little bit this time. And this is all completely me experimenting, so this might turn out terrible, or it might turn out wonderful. You never know. Art is a lot like an experiment. You never know what's going to happen. Just grabbing a little bit of paper towel here. I don't want to work with a wet brush because I'm working with acrylics and I want to lay them on a little bit thicker. Now, if we were doing watercolor, that's a whole different story because watercolor takes water. I'm going to add a little bit more pink up towards the top. There we go. And just kind of let that blend a little bit down into, I'm just sweeping the brush back and forth, getting it down into my other orangey area. So we have kind of a gradual change from the pink down to the orange, down to the yellow. And that's our horizon. And now I'm going to work and get a little bit darker here. So I am rinsing my brush one more time. I'm going to dry it off. And my next color I'm going to do is some purple. Now, purple can be a little bit fussy in terms of, I don't know, every time I've had purple paint, sometimes with the darker colors, it can be a little bit thin. So I'm going to add purple in. We'll see if we have to do more than one layer. And I'm just using this dark cobalt violet. I'm using artist acrylics, which you can get at the local craft store. Tons of different varieties. But you can also use craft acrylics to make these paintings that I do. So, you know, really, it's kind of up to you what colors you want to use. You might find colors, certain colors that you like better than others. So I'm doing this is a dark cobalt violet. Just like this, and I'm working my way up. Now I kind of want this to gradual. See how it's very, very distinct, like purple to pink. So I do want that to be a little more gradual. I'm going to put a little bit of pink on my brush and then just kind of bring that in just so that we can get those two layers to blend a little bit better. So it's not such a great big difference. They kind of blend into each other, and you can see it makes a little bit lighter lavender here, so that looks a little bit more like a natural blend. It's more pink on there, and I'm not washing the brush here. I want these colors to mix a little bit. I'm being very careful though. I don't want to get down into that orangey area because then that might not look so great. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna rinse my brush only because I had some pink on it and I want to work some more with this purple into my blue. Sometimes with these projects, I don't have to keep rinsing my brush, but since I'm experimenting here, I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction. Like I said, this is completely me playing around, so we could have something kind of crazy happen, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit. This is some dark ultramarine, so it's just a dark blue. It's a fancy way of saying dark blue. A lot of these colors will have certain shades listed, you know. And if you do one of my classes where I give you a color list, I usually tell you right there on the color list that, you know, the colors, it's not so important that you get the exact same color. You know, like red, for example, sometimes comes as scarlet, it comes as fire engine red, it might be listed as sunset red or primary red. The important thing is that you choose a red, and it's really up to you which shaded red you like best. So that's the same with this blue here. There's ultramarine blue, there's phthalocyanine blue, and I got a little shout out to my friend Katie. She looked that up. Bob Ross. My last painting, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce this. So she informed me of how Bob, the paint guru, pronounced it. So thank you, Katie, for that. If you're just joining me, this is Rose from the Painted Toad, and we are painting a Mars galaxy landscape. So I am gonna kind of pop in here. Let me see. I did want to do an area of lighter blue. I'm gonna try this. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe, you know what? All right. This is me thinking here. I'm changing my mind, going back and forth. So I am gonna go into the black here, but I'm gonna bring this darker blue up a little bit higher. So I'm gonna bring that up a little bit higher. I'm just sweeping back and forth with my flat brush, and I'm working on a 5x7 canvas board, this very small painting. These paintings are great for experimenting. And now I'm coming in with the black. See how dark? Oh my gosh, look how dark that black is. So black really can overpower and take over. So I am gonna just kind of bring this in here, but we're gonna blend this down a little bit so it's not such this dramatic between the black and the blue. I don't want a big black line like that. So I want to be a little bit more natural. So I do have some black and blue on here, and I'm gonna kind of bring this down a little bit. And sometimes if the black is overpowering like this, I'll just go right in to pure blue and pull the blue right on top, and don't brush it back and forth too much. You just kind of bring it in on top. If you blend it too much, then it's all going to start looking black again. So I don't know if you can tell the difference there. I'm just going to bring this down, kind of blend it in. There we go. Got a lot of extra paint on the edge. Another trick, if you want to pick up some of this extra paint, if it's too dark, well, there's two tricks you could do. One is to just dry your brush off and then sweep it over and pick up some of that paint. So I can kind of do that if I want. While it's still wet, it doesn't work when it starts to dry. But while it's still wet, I can pick up some of that extra black there. Or I could always let it dry and go over it again. I'm going to take just a touch more blue and bring that up just a little bit more into the dark part of the sky here. There we go. And then I'm going to take the edge of this here, edge of my brush, and just kind of sweep it up. Ooh, I like how that looks. I'm just experimenting here, seeing what kind of colors I can pull out of this sky. All right, so we have a very colorful sky. It's very bright. I like it. Okay, now the tricky part. This is the experimental part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use some cotton balls here to add some color areas. So let me see here. I'm going to try a little, and this could be a total disaster. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to try. So I'm going to add a little bit of this. I've got light blue here. It's pale blue, it says. I don't know if I have any left. Oh, I did. Some of it squirted into my yellow. There we go. So we'll avoid the yellow because I don't want green. And there, see, I'm dropping my paint. Paint's falling into the paint palette. This is the reality of paintings. It's supposed to be messy, and sometimes I'm a bit messier than I intend. Okay, so I'm going to experiment first and kind of see what I can do with this. And I'm thinking this is very, very blue. And I'm wondering how this is going to work out. There's only one way to find out. Let's try it. Like I said, this could be a disaster. We'll find out. So I'm just going to kind of blot the blue in there, doing this light blue. And I'm not really dragging it around here. I'm just kind of dabbing at it. Dab. And I'm doing this while this paint is still wet. Ooh, we got a little bit of cotton sticking. All right. Mental note there. If your cotton starts to fall apart, grab another cotton ball. Okay, here we go. I might need more than 3 cotton balls here. Get high quality cotton balls. I don't even know what I think these are. Maybe Kroger brand. Maybe I need a better quality cotton ball here. Yep, look at that. We got cotton sticking. Well, it could add a little texture here. So I could say that I meant to do that. I do that a lot. If something doesn't work out exactly right the way I want it to, I just tell people I meant to do that. You never know what's going to happen. All right, so there I did some light blue. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of purple. I'm going to try the dark ultramarine, but I think what I'm going to do is add just a touch of white to it to get kind of a lavender because I want it a little bit brighter here. So let me just, I still have some ultramarine on my palette and I'm putting a little bit of white on there. And I am going to, if I can find my palette knife, oh, it's where it belongs. Imagine that. I'm going to take some of my dark ultramarine, just a touch, and kind of make a lavender in here. We'll see how this turns out. A little bit more. And if you're heading on by, scrolling through your Facebook, and you see me painting live, stop in and say hi. I would love to hear from you. You do have to grant StreamYard permission because I'm broadcasting this from StreamYard. I do that because I like to be able to switch my camera function from my face down to my work area so I can use 2 cameras. I can't do that with a Facebook Live, so I like StreamYard because it gives me that option. All right, I'm taking a little bit of this lavender now, and I'm just going to kind of bring it in here. And I have to pick a little bit of this cotton. I'm not too happy with my cotton here. Maybe if I tighten it up in a ball a little bit better. We'll see. It's all about learning. Learn in the process. Sometimes you make it up as you go. All right. And then I'm going to come in here with some that darker blue again, and kind of bring that in on top. So I'm just kind of making these little poofy galaxy clouds. We'll see how it turns out. This is all about experimentation. Bring it down here. There we go. Add in some more here. Just dabbing it with a cotton ball. It looks kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to look like outer space when I'm done, but we'll find out. I'm going to come in here now and add a little bit of the pink because I want to blend this down here. I'm going to soften that up a little bit. So it kind of, more cotton on there. It's going to be a very fuzzy picture. Maybe I'm inventing something new. Fuzzy painting. I think I will. I'm gonna get the copyright on that. Fuzzy painting. The other day I was painting with my daughter. She wanted to do a project with me, so we sat down. We did some watercolor, some leprechaun themed watercolor, and I made up a new term for that too. I called it poodling. We were paint doodling, just kind of playing around with the watercolors, trying some different pictures and things like that. So yeah, you can make up your own words when you're creative. We're all about being creative at the Painted Toad. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to come back in here and add a little bit more of the black. And I'm going to try to do it with my cotton ball, but look at my fingers. It's like sticking to me. This could be a disaster. Oh my gosh. I keep rolling it. Like if I roll it, it comes off my fingers. So if you try this later and you have like these crazy cotton balls like I do that just want to be fuzzy all over, just try to roll it. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of black and kind of bring the black back down in here. I feel like it could use a little bit of white, but I'm afraid if I go too light here, I'm going to bring this down on the horizon. The other great thing about doing a little video here to show you how I'm painting is what not to do. Make sure you have high quality cotton balls. That's my first tip. Just bring in some black down in here. And I don't know how I feel about this down in my horizon. I might bring some more color down there. I was trying to get a little bit brighter. I'm looking at the picture from Mars as my example, but that's a little tricky. So let me see if I do a little pink down in here, maybe that'll kind of blend it in a little bit more. Oh, that's kind of interesting. There we go. I need a little pink. Need a little bit more magenta. It is kind of looking like a really cool sky. So I think once I add some stars in a little bit, I think the stars will make it work. But I'm working down here. I don't know if I'm going to keep this area down here because it's not sure I like it. I'll have to see. I'll have to see. So the cool thing about that Mars sky is like there's no clouds because there's no atmosphere. Well, it's a thin atmosphere on Mars, but there isn't a bunch of water vapor and all that in the atmosphere. As far as we know, maybe they're going to find out that it has different things. I'm certainly not an expert, but it is fascinating. There we go. Add a little bit more black over here. And maybe just a little bit more of the blue. Let's see if I can just lighten that up just a touch. And I'm going to try a little bit of white, but I don't want to do too much white because I'm afraid if I do too much white, it might start turning a little gray. So I'm going to try just a touch of white This could be the beginning of the end for this painting. We'll see. Got my last little cotton ball here. It's almost completely fallen apart. Maybe I'll mix it with a little bit of this blue so it's not completely. There we go. Just kind of bring it up along the line here. It's kind of brighter. There we go. Going back in with some of the dark blue. Just gonna try my other layers again, just to get this all kind of blend and look like the sky. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm not sure if I like it or not. We'll see. We'll see. This is all, we're gonna say this is abstract, right? If you're not sure, make it abstract. I am gonna add a little bit down here on our horizon line. I'm gonna go straight in with black. I'm using just a flat brush, and I'm just gonna kind of paint a little bit of a horizon down here. Maybe some distant, there's little distant hills and mountains. I don't know if they're hills or mountains. They could be mountains. I'll kind of paint this down here at the bottom. Just using black acrylic on a flat brush. And I'm just making this up as I go along. Something a little taller over there. There we go. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Martian. It's a really good movie and a really good book. It's really funny. It's one of my favorite books. So I would definitely recommend it. It's got Matt Damon in it. And he's a botanist. He's a botanist that gets left behind on Mars. So that's the storyline. And then it kind of tells you all the different things he goes through while he's living on the planet all by himself. What he has to do to survive. But it's really funny. It's very interesting. All right, what do we think of that? Ooh, I'm liking that now. Once you add in that little bit of the silhouette of the land down there, that looks cool. I'm not totally sold here on this orange going into the pink. So I am wondering if I take, I'm not sure if I want to use this, I'm going to try this cotton ball. I had some blue and black on it. I'm going to just turn it out here to another fuzzy part. And let's see if I can get a little bit of this orange to just kind of blend up in here to blend this sky a little bit better. So I'm taking the orange, or not the orange, the magenta and the yellow, which kind of mixes to make this orange. Just going to blend this up here just a tad, just to kind of bring the sky together. We got the higher part of the sky mixing with the lower. A little bit of that there. It's okay. Not totally happy with it. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm not happy with this part here. It looks a little green. Maybe because I had some blue down there, but maybe I'll like it. I'm gonna leave it. When you're not sure of something, just leave it. Leave it and come back to it. Another thing I'm gonna try here. I'm gonna rinse. I've got this on my fingers. Yep, nice and messy. If you're not getting messy or not having fun, so I'm gonna take just a little bit of this yellow, kind of. I'm just sweeping my brush back here a little bit, back and forth, fussing here with the horizon a little bit. There we go. Kind of blending that in there. Okay. Oop, don't want that yellow there. Okay. So now here's a fun little trick I'm going to try. I'm going to take an old toothbrush here. This is an old one. I use it for clay too, for scratching up clay. And I'm going to dip it in some white paint. And I'm going to try first and see. You're supposed to be able to kind of flick it, but I don't know if that's going to work. Let me see. So you kind of flick it on there. I'm not sure if it's spreading or not. I guess we're just going to have to try on here. I think I need more paint. And if the toothbrush doesn't work, I have a plan B, just in case. I might need to add a little water to it, just to, because this white paint is pretty thick. But we're going to try. Yep, I think I need some water. I'm going to get some water on this brush, and I'm going to use my rinsing water because it's pretty dark. So let me get a little bit of water on this. Okay, let me see now. I'm going to try it. There we go. Oh, yeah, that makes a huge difference. Look at that. I love it. Look, isn't that so cool? Sorry, I get excited when something works the way I want it to. After the fiasco. Oh, no! That's a moon. Look at that. We can see one of the moons of Mars. Fantastic. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And look at my big blob. That wasn't supposed to happen, but hey, it's perfect circle. It's a moon. What are the names of Mars's moons? I know it has, I think it has some moons. And then one final little touch here, just for fun. You can tell, like, I'm so excited. I'm like smiling from ear to ear right now because it worked. It's always fun when your experiments work the way you want it to. All right, I've got a very ultra fine brush here, and I'm just going to add a couple little lines here. Not too many. You got to make that noise too. You have to go when you're creating them. We've got some shooting stars kind of coming, bursting through the atmosphere. I love this. This is so fun. Welcome to Mars. There we go. I think it looks pretty cool. What do you think? Well, I need one more shooting star because this looks too like predictable here. We need it to be a little bit more random. So let's do one more there. Maybe one way up here. Okay, I think that's a little better. All right. So it didn't take too long at all. I'm very, very happy with my little Mars landscape. That's so cool. Okay. And I'm going to be picking, I can still see the cotton stuck in here. It'll just be fuzzy. That's part of my texture. I'll have to experiment with that some more and see, what could I use differently that'll give me the same effect as the cotton without leaving all the cotton fuzz. Maybe I need to find a better brand of cotton ball. We'll have to see. But for now, let me switch back here. But we just did a Martian landscape. So actually, I'll show you the picture real quick. I always worry when I grab these because then, pick it up. I'm afraid I'm going to drop it on myself. But there we go. So, oh no! Now my moon, look at that. See what just happens? I should have left it. My moon is oozing. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. This happens. That's what I get for trying to show off. There we go. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll let it dry. I'll fix it later. It's no big deal. Maybe it'll be some sort of a satellite or something like that. Okay. So this is Rose very messy from the painted toad. And thanks for popping in today. If you would like to make this Martian landscape, just let me know in the comments, and I will put together a little supply list so that you can try this out at home on your own. Thanks. Have a great day.